is a Puma King Ultimate, current generation. This is also a current generation Puma King Ultimate. Between these two boots, there should be very little difference, but that's not actually the case. The first incredibly obvious difference is, well, they're different colours. Makes no difference to the boot, they're just different colours. The next difference is more likely to impact performance, but realistically about this much. If we look on this pair here, you're going to see that the patterning, the texturing, it's kind of like this chemical building blocks style with the dots and the ridged elements that run all the way through, some over on the lateral side here as well. Whereas if we compare that to the black pair, what you've got is just this all over texture. It's a little bit rougher, runs in pretty much the same places, but there is less on this lateral side. And the final difference is something that you can't really see just by glancing at the boots, and it is the fit. This is the standard or men's fit boot, and this is the women's fit boot. Now, the difference in the actual fit between the two is fairly minimal. Like, you could hand me this and probably tell me that it's the men's fit, or what Puma are just calling like the regular fit boot, and I would believe you. One of the only differences you can spot between the two is that the toe box is slightly different. It just seems a little bit taller on the women's fit, and maybe overall just a little bit narrower as well. Now, you don't feel these a huge amount when you're wearing them. This one I do think is a little bit narrower throughout, maybe slightly narrower in the heel, but some of that could comfortably be placebo effect because it's kind of what I'm expecting. So those are the three differences to these boots that I am 100% expecting and should absolutely be there. We're talking color, we're talking texture, and we're talking slight differences in the fit. However, there is one other major difference between these two boots that makes them fundamentally different, makes this boot significantly better than this boot, and I just don't feel like that should be the case, considering they're basically the same thing. Now, I do have it on good authority that Puma know that these two boots with the slightly different textures do perform differently. But Puma are saying there is a slight difference between the two boots based on the texture. I am saying that the difference is so huge that I wouldn't wear this, but I would wear this. The difference, quite simply, is in the material. This pair, the women's pair that I have here with that kind of chemical texturing, is thin, soft, pliable, and the touch on the ball is quite direct. Now, I'm not going to comment too much on their overall performance. I haven't had a huge amount of time wearing these. As you can see, look how shiny and white they are, but the difference is evident immediately. Let's take a look at this pair, the black pair. This is the pair I got first, and I almost immediately just wrote this boot off as an absolute disaster. The material is so much thicker. It's still soft, it's still pliable, but it's much, much thicker, and it just doesn't feel the same way. The touch on the ball is different. Like, look how that responds when I push it in. It's just so much thicker and softer, whereas this is just like a really thin. Look at how much faster that responds to that. It just shows this is a much thicker material, and it absolutely feels it on feet, and that then affects the fit. I got these first. This was the first pair I bought. I got them in a US 8. It's the size I always start with. I'm like, great, get US 8, work up or down from there, and too small, definitely too small, can't wear them. No good. So I got these half a size up. And these, because the material isn't as thick, are almost slightly too big, half a size up. And of course, going up half a size in these, and these having a slightly larger toe box, is going to mean that there's even more room. So in my regular size, these might be fine, and these ones you might need to go up half a size. Oh! You've all turned off, haven't you? Everyone's just clicked off at this point and gone, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This makes no sense, and he's rambling, and you'd be right. I'll continue. So, to summarize my issue, we have two boots that fundamentally should be exactly the same in every way, apart from the fit should be marginally different because of men's, women's fit, and there isn't a huge difference at all between the men's and women's Puma fits, and they should have different texture. That is it. There should be no more difference between these two boots. But the way that Puma have altered this boot between having this particular texture and this particular texture is so radical that I would not wear this boot. I would not recommend this boot. I would not tell anybody to go out and buy this boot. This boot, however, I really like. Nice boots.